All right, dude. You want me to count down from 20?
Countdown from 53
All right, got you, dude.
for my man
53.
Bill Romanowski.
All right, I got you down. Five, four.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the first episode of a new show. Isn't that wild? This is the first episode. I don't know why you've decided to download this. Uh, the reviews aren't in, but we'll get into it. Let me explain what led to this and what we're going to do, what we're going to talk about, and why we're all here. And then maybe after that, you'll decide why you're here. So my name is Mike O'Keefe. I used to have a podcast called Buddy of the Groom, where I interviewed people to be my groomsmen. I am not engaged. That's my girlfriend's least favorite joke. We did 65 episodes of that podcast. It was very fun. We had a lot of good times. We did a live show that people came to. We had some comedians that were famous. We had a wrestler that was famous on the show. And I only picked one person to be my groomsman. That was my buddy Justin Gowell. And that podcast is no longer with us. It's still available for a couple weeks, and then it won't be. So if you downloaded this because it showed up in your Buddy of the Groom feed that you didn't delete, thank you. Please keep listening. As a lot of you know, the last Buddy of the Groom episode was in late February. I don't know if you know what happened in mid-March, but everyone decided to start sneezing at the same time. And that got so out of control that everything shut down. The world as we know it changed. Stand-up comedy ceased to be. And it only is to be now. That's not how that works. Stand-up comedy only exists now in a few places. And to them, we wish them the best of luck. In that time, I have, number one, stayed with my girlfriend. We're not changing the show because we broke up. Me and Mallory still going strong, still having a nice time. I have done since the pandemic started, I've done about 6 or 7 sets. They all went fantastic. I'm still on the top of my game. I don't even need the game to be on the top of my game. I'm coming in hot and heavy each and every time. And by that, I mean 6 times since that happened. I'm at the top of my game. It doesn't matter if the game is happening. I'm at the top of it. I'm on my perch at the tippy top of the game. But without stand-up comedy, I need some sort of. I lost my purpose. I didn't know what I was doing because I've been doing stand-up comedy for a third of my life, all of my time as an adult, and I was always asked, "What would you do if you weren't a stand-up comedian? What would you do if you hadn't found stand-up comedy?" And my answer was always teaching. I would be a teacher, and so I enrolled in DePaul's. Well, I applied first. I applied number one. I applied for DePaul's School of Education, and then I got in, and then I enrolled, and I'm almost done with my first quarter of teacher education classes, and it's been great. It's been very fun. But going back and thinking about all these things about teaching and kind of going through my classes and all these readings, I realized that I had kind of a weird time in school. I went to weird schools. I only had Catholic education growing up. I went to all boys Catholic high school, which was very odd. And I thought, hey, there might be something here where I could talk to other people about them going to school, and we can share stories of our school days. And more importantly, we can see what could have been done better by the faculty. What could have been done better by the teachers? And I would like to know that. I would like to hear those things so I know them going forward in my new career as the original hybrid, the comedian slash teacher. There's a lot of comedian slash writers. There's a lot of comedian slash actors. There's a couple comedian slash musicians. There's a couple comedian slash magicians. I would like to pioneer the comedian slash teacher. And so that's what we're doing here. And that's why we're here on the new podcast, Education Smeducation. Welcome to the show. And the first guest of this this new venture is I'm very happy that he's decided to join us. He's a nice young man that I've known for, we did the math a couple months ago. We've known each other for almost 7 years, 7 or 8 years, me and Josh. And I think this is a good first person to have on this education podcast because I consider this guy beneath me. I really do. No, that's not good. Josh, I love you. And you're a bit of a student. I think you were in college when we first met. Yeah, buddy?
Yeah. I was starting my sophomore year right at the beginning. It was that weekend of Brouhaha where we first met. Yeah.
Yes, since Cincinnati. Josh is from the Cincinnati area. Mm-hmm. And he's a Cincinnati. You'd call yourself a Cincinnati comedian. I would, at least.
Yeah, it's the best scene. I love Cincinnati. I'm proud.
It's not the best. Also, Ken Hamlett is going to be along for the ride as producer. Ken, say something about yourself very quickly.
Hey, I'm Ken Hamlett, producer of Education Some Education.
Yeah, great job, buddy. Ken, I'll tell you what, we're going to give out a lot of grades here. I think you get an A for that, buddy.
Thank you, man.
Josh, so far, C+. Let's pick it up, buddy.
C+. I love it.
Man, that's the first A I've ever gotten in school, so thank you, man.
Congratulations, man. Thank you. I should tell you that this is not school. This is all of us on Zoom. And, cracking wise. Anyway, so Josh, you were at Xavier, correct?
Yeah, I went to Xavier in Cincinnati, and I went to a high school in Cincinnati called St. Xavier for 2 years as well.
Okay, and so was that all boys Catholic school?
Yeah, we did the same thing. I went to 2 different high schools, both of which were all boys Catholic schools, and one was Jesuit and one was Xaverian.
So if we're starting off very diverse, we're getting a lot of different perspectives on the show. Yeah. A lot of different straight white Irish guys who went to all boys Catholic high school.
Yeah, a lot of O apostrophe last names in this lineup.
Yeah. A lot of not being able to tell people that we love them.
Yeah. I'm still looking forward to hearing you say that, man. I'm still waiting.
Oh, one day. Mm-hmm. I think I did tell Ken has a son, and I think I met Ken's son very briefly, and I think I did tell Ken's son that I loved him. Aww. He's a very adorable young man who's going to play in the NBA one day. He's going to be very good.
Okay. Very cool.
Draft day is coming up, and I think he's going to go in the top 15.
How old is this kid?
He's like 2.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. For sure.
All right.
I'm thinking lottery pick for sure.
Yeah. Definitely. I would pick that kid before LaMelo Ball.
You heard it here first.
100%. Granted, your son hasn't spent the time in Europe that LaMelo has, but I think he's got a wetter J, in my opinion.
Your son have a shoe yet? You guys up playing a shoe?
They're soft soles, but it's still a shoe deal.
Yeah. Jordans where I'm from. So, Josh, let me ask you the question on everyone's mind when you say that you went to an all-boys Catholic high school. Were you, like me, hit by your teachers?
No, but I heard a lot of stories about teachers who hit like people in the 70s and 80s. I went to a school in Massachusetts for junior and senior year called St. John's, and that's where my dad and all of his brothers went. And there was a story about back in the day, like literal Xaverian brothers lived on the campus, and the hall that I had homeroom in was called Flavian Hall, and it was named after a brother, Flavian. And he sounds like a Jerry Lewis noise.
Yeah. Flavian.
The rumor from my Uncle Charlie, I believe, was that he one time just punched a student directly in the forehead and left like a ring mark, and just like a bop, not like a full punch, but like literally just like bap, and then just got like the mark of his ring like imprinted in the kid's forehead for a minute.
Yeah, I would like also everything on the East Coast, everything needs to have a name. Like it's not just Hey, the Hall. Nope, Flavian Hall.
Oh, yeah.
Home of Brother Flavian.
Yeah,
Invented sunlight.
if there's anything that all boys Catholic schools care about, it's their history. That's it.
Yeah, all boys Catholic high schools love pomp.
They love it and circumstance sometimes.
They love them both. They love pomp. They love circumstance.
You know what they love?
Vacation in Turks and Caicos.
This is something I noticed at both schools. They love those like custom wall portraits of like campus life back in the 60s, just like, dozens of kids walking to and from class. They're all wearing suits and ties and stuff.
Yeah.
They're all white. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, at the time, I was like, oh, look at that. And now I look at it, I'm like, that looks like Nazi propaganda. That looks like not. The biggest thing that I remember from because we did go to very similar institutions.
But you got hit by your teachers.
I did. There were a couple teachers that would have no problem hitting kids. I will describe a couple of them now. We had Father Ward, who was my math teacher senior year. And this was the one that sticks out with me the most because I was like, at this time, it's the second half of senior year. I'm 18. I play in a punk band. I have a fake ID.
What was the name of your punk band?
What's up?
What was the name of your punk band?
We were called Sawchuck after the famous Detroit Red Wings goaltender.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah, Terry Sawchuck. I'm going to Detroit to go to bars. I have 2 restaurant jobs at this time. I, for all intents and purposes, am basically an adult. I'm getting ready to go to ROTC at Michigan State University. I have no need for math at this point in my life. In my mind, I actually did, and I was a terrible math student. But I got something wrong, and Father Ward, he was about 6'4". He was very big man, and I want to say he's like 63 at this point in his life. He takes his class ring, turns it inside so the stone is on the inside of his palm, and fucking whaps me on the back of the head.
Wow.
Yeah. Like he's trying to kill a bat or something.
It's like trying to plant a chip in the back of your head there. That's crazy.
Like Dikembe Mutombo, just all because I was like, quadratic formula. I don't care. I got to make years later at my job.
Do you know the quadratic formula though?
No, of course not.
I know it. You learn a song. I was taught a song.
Oh, please dazzle us.
X equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 2ac all over 2a. That's it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't think that
Are you
rhymes at
expecting us
all.
to? Does it rhyme? That's a terrible song. Were you expecting us to clap for you after that?
No, I wanted that silence. And then I was going to transition into the preposition song, and we were going to do all.
It is odd that you went to all boys Catholic high school, but they taught you all these songs for learning.
Yeah. Because the other part of all boys school, it's gayer than they play it out to be.
Oh boy. Oh, let me tell you, the homoeroticism when you're in all boys Catholic high school and you're on the wrestling team and the football team, you're in a lot of close quarters with the boys.
It's a good time.
Do you look back on these times fondly, Josh?
I look back on the first 2 years very fondly. I went to a school in Cincinnati. I had gone to public school for grade school and hated it. I was bullied. And I went to this new school, fresh start, made some good friends, had a lot of fun. And then right after sophomore year, I had to move to Massachusetts. And I was very bummed because, you join that school halfway through, everybody already knows everybody. Also, you're going from Midwestern politeness to aggro people who think they're in Boston, even though they're in Shrewsbury, Massachusetts, kind of the vibes.
Let me tell you something about Shrewsbury.
Yeah.
Not a fan.
Yeah? Oh, boy.
I've never been.
Truth.
The only thing worse than Shrewsbury is the women in Shrewsbury.
The
They
only
call
thing
it
worse-
Shrewsbury for a reason.
Oh, you think it's
That's why
called
they don't call it
Shrewsbury?
Dorchesville. You know what I'm saying?
You think it's called Shrewsbury?
Is that not what it?
No, I said that's the only city worse is Dingleberry, Massachusetts.
Is that a real town? I would love if that was a real
It's right
town.
next to it. It's right next to it, Michael.
Is that true?
That's what yeah. Because
Man, if I had unlimited money, I'd open up a laundromat in Dingleberry, make a killing. Well, that's the show, you guys. We did it. We solved podcasting.
So Kairos was a retreat. You basically just go away to like some cabins or wherever, like a disclosed location, depending on what school you go to. And you have leaders who give talks about random subjects, you know, the trajectory of your life, what love means, what life means. It's very stupid, but like also when you're there, it's the best. And then you break off into small groups and you talk about those things further. And it's just a way to pal around and make some like, not lifelong friends, but definitely just be like, okay, through high school, we're going to be tight. Like we'll always have Kairos kind of thing. Michael is,
I'm so sorry.
this isn't a visual podcast. Michael is laughing with no noise coming out of his mouth.
Well, because it's this thing that's kind of thrust upon you a little bit in high school, but definitely in college, where everything you're going through is taught to you that it's the most important thing that you're ever going to have to deal with.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's like, listen, this is when all of your values come in, and this is when you have to do this. This is when you become a man. This is your ethos for the rest of your life.
Exactly.
But it's just do your homework. It's really honest.
It's a lot of we're gonna get you to cry in front of your friends, and it's gonna be, and certain songs from the retreat are gonna make you think about that forever. You know, like certain songs will always remind you of that. It's very.
Like what songs? Can you give us an example?
Let me see. So I led a retreat that was basically Kairos in college. I was one of the leaders. It was called Approach, and I gave a talk about just the peaks and valleys of life so far. You know, like essentially the message was, you know, life deals you a bad hand sometimes, deals you a great hand other times. And you pick a song that fits thematically with it. So I picked a song by the Avett Brothers called "The Once and Future Carpenter," which is about just a guy with a long history. So it's kind of stuff like that. It's a lot of acoustic music. I was in high school for Kairos, like at the fucking height of Mumford and Sons. So like that first album by Mumford & Sons is so good.
It was Mumford Mania, baby.
It was Mumford Mania. It was so good. It was great. And like, but yeah, 100%, like half of that first album was worked into every retreat you ever went on, you know?
Yeah. Mumford is always an odd thing for me because the high school so my high school was in Redford, Michigan, which is right on the city limits of Detroit.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you go 3 blocks like northeast, you're in the city.
Okay.
And the closest high school to us that was in the city was Detroit Mumford. And I'm always just like, whenever I hear Mumford and Sons, I'm just like, but it's different.
Yeah, man.
That's not what I remember it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just that like, but honestly, how much had you gone through as a person? And if you don't want to answer this is fine. How much had you gone through as a person up until age 21, and then from 21 to the age you are now, how much have you gone through in that section? You know what I mean?
I think they're equal, but in their own respects. I think adult life is, you know, obviously more intense and harder, and you know, and things are meant to be taken more seriously because you're more on your own. But I would defend my speech. I went through a lot as a kid, so
Carpenter.
without disclosing too much or making this podcast a bummer, yeah, I had my speech had some bummers and some peaks and valleys, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I think part of the point of those kind of speeches is to make you go, oh, everybody's going through stuff. We're all doing.
Yeah.
We're all in this. That's the point. It's the we're all in this together vibe, and those retreats really helped with that. That was like my favorite thing about Catholic school, probably.
I definitely agree with any way to get people to learn empathy. I think
Yeah, that's it. That's the point of it.
empathy is top dog, especially nowadays. I mean, you turn on the TV. I mean, it's just people yelling. I am watching the yelling channel. But
Yeah, you gotta. Yeah, change the channel.
So would you say you liked school then, on the whole? Average. If all things coming out at the end of the thing, you put the whole 4 years in a meat grinder. Thumbs up. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'd give it somewhere between an Orange Cassidy thumbs up and a real thumbs up. Yeah.
But listen, there's so many wrestling fans who are like, I would like to listen to a prospective teacher talk too loud.
Of course. That's why Matt Stryker got a job on Lucha Underground.
Yeah.
Boom. 2 for 2.
I think I did too, if all things are equal. Getting clocked a couple times. Oh, I'll tell you this as well. I was on the football team for all 4 years. We had a priest who taught at our school named Father Buenteo, who was, in addition to being my Spanish teacher for 2 years, he was also the team chaplain.
Okay.
So that basically just means that before the games, we would all be in a circle jumping around, and then Father Buenteo would come in and be like, all right, now the Hail Mary. And then we would say the Hail Mary and then run out onto the field and go play football. A weird part in the game day process, but
I got a question, because in the Army, the chaplain is like someone you go to for like life advice, like heart to heart sometimes, where you're just like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what my purpose is. Did you see this priest as that too? Like, was that a guy you could trust yourself to go confide in about stuff?
Not me personally, but I believe that service was available. There was a priest that I really did enjoy. I really liked talking to. His name was Father Thompson, who, he was a guy that I actually could talk to, and I would see him for confession every once in a while. He was a good egg, and he'd probably be pretty dumb that I don't go to church anymore. But that's neither here nor there. Anyway, this is our homecoming game, which we called Boys Bowl. Again, the homoeroticism rampant. Boys Bowl. It's not. You shouldn't call it that.
That's not a good name.
It's horrible. It couldn't be worse.
Dude, what do they call the bowling team then?
They were the Boys Who Bowl. They were. And their rival was the Ladies Who Lunch. It was rough. So it's Boys Bowl. We're playing Orchard Lake St. Mary's, our one of our big rivals, and Father Buenteo comes into the jumping around part. In football, where before you go out on the field, you're in a big pile and you're jumping around. He gets too close to the jumping around part, and he's very excited. He's so pumped up. He's nuts, and he is not wearing a helmet. I should also point that out. But he went to headbutt this kid, Paul, all-state defensive tackle, and Father Mateo fucking cracked his forehead on Paul's face mask and just like bleeding. But to his credit, bleeding down his face. But to his credit, still said the Hail Mary with us.
Yeah, that's hardcore. That guy.
He Yeah, Father Montego was nuts, but a very good dude.
I'm getting bad vibes from that Hail Mary though. That's a weird image, like a bloody faced person doing a Hail Mary.
Bloody Mary?
It Bloody Mary. Also, it's kind of a stigmata-y thing. Like a little stigmata. It is, honestly, it's very, and at that point, like, no one would have complained if he would have been like, well, guys, I'm bleeding. You got a game. Let's not do it this time. Like, let's just say it all in our heads and then do a football out there.
Do a football.
Do a football. But yeah, those were the two big priest violence stories. And then there was another guy who he retired after my freshman year, but he would whip pennies at kids in his math class if they got stuff wrong. Just whip pennies at them, and like from behind too.
Man.
Like any of these things, fireable offenses, right? Yeah. I don't think you'd survive any of that in today's.
Here's a question.
That's probably for the best, you know.
Here's a question about all boys Catholic school. Maybe this was just an East Coast thing or like a generational thing. Did your teachers call you by your last name?
No one had a first name.
Exactly.
Everyone
was the son of a student who already went there, and that person was taught by your teacher. Your father was taught by that teacher, so they were just like, "Oh, this is also O'Neill. This is now the O'Neill in the group."
Yeah, there was a ton of that or like they'd have somebody's older brother, and they'd be like, "Oh, Fisher, you're you're one of the oh, are you Mahoney's younger brother?" Like it was all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I had never, I was first generation there in my family because my dad's from Ireland and then California. So no one knew me, but even then I was still just O'Keefe.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm sure there were kids that I graduated with, that I had classes with, that I knew for 4 years that never knew that my name was Mike. I guarantee.
Yeah, there was if it wasn't for Facebook, I wouldn't have known half those kids' names, you know. There was a kid, his name, he was a Greek kid, and everyone, his last name was Panteliakis, and that was it the entire time. And then I finally got on Facebook and found him, and his name was Nico, and I was like, why do we not just call him Nico and save so much time?
Like 4 less syllables.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Insane.
Yeah, there's still people who like I'm sure that there's people who I still have in my cell phone contacts just by their last name that I'll never be able to contact because, well, I went to high school 12 years ago, and also they probably changed their numbers, but also there's like kids with nicknames and fucking other, like there's one kid there's a number in my phone that's just Duck. I don't remember that kid's real name.
Damn.
But it was Duck for.
Dude, it was John Cryer from Pretty in Pink.
Duck.
It
was John. Yeah,
it's Duck.
Love that.
On my cross country team, everybody had a nickname. Every single person, I'm pretty sure, had a nickname. It was very fun. Like, yeah, it's just a fun way, you know. I think nicknames are kind of adult, if that makes sense.
What do you mean?
I don't know. They just seem very like, I don't know, like you got your shit together enough that you can respond to a name that's not your own. Does that make sense?
I think it's the exact opposite.
Exactly.
Honestly. Yeah, right, Ken? Like there's no.
I'm just jealous because I never had a nickname.
Yeah. Like if we were all at a bar or something when this pandemic clears up in 2029 and another group of dudes saw a guy walk in and they were like, "Hey, Scooter," we'd be like, "What is, like, that guy got drunk and crashed a bird scooter."
I don't know. That sounds fun. I like Scooter.
I
Scooter sounds like a guy
I had
that's
a
had too
buddy
many
for many
DUIs.
years. His nickname was Pooh,
Yeah.
and I thought it was because of Pooh Bear, and it turns out that it was Pooh because he shit his pants on his 21st birthday.
That rules.
Yeah. No, I think the nickname is a sign of someone who do not have it together.
Yeah.
I think I'm basing it more personal. Like I've taken you to Zips before, right? On Cincinnati. Yeah. The bartender there, he's one of my dad's best friends, and my dad has like 5 different nicknames. But my dad's friend who has been bartending in Zips for 40 years. He's his name's Killer, and it just kind of fits the vibe. So I'm like, okay, if you just get like that one quick name, and it appropriately matches your character. But Scooter, I don't like Scooter. I don't like him. I don't care for him.
Yeah, Scooter. Yeah. Well, also, I don't think I'm gonna call Cronin Meat anymore after he's a dad. Like, I just don't think I don't think that's fair to his kid.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's kind of fun when I hear my dad get called nicknames by people. It reminds me that he used to be a young gun with friends. Like, it's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, oh, this guy was out there thriving and surviving in his 20s for a while, playing it cool.
Yeah, my dad. There was some of my dad's friends used to call him Red.
Great.
Red hair.
That's great. That's a good one. It's a simple one. I love it.
Great nickname. Fucking great.
My dad is to some people he's the sailor. He's also Rocket, and he's also back when people were making fun of him when he was about to get fat, he was Whopper. They would call him Whopper.
Wow. Sometimes people are mean to their friends.
Yeah, that's Massachusetts, man. If you cry when you're made fun of, they'll remember that. But if you smile and laugh through it, you're accepted into the world.
Yeah.
Why do you think you and I are friends?
Yeah. Well, if my least favorite thing in movies is when some kid's getting bullied and they're like, just laugh with them, pretend like you like it. It's like, have you ever tried to do that in real life? Like, people hate that.
Yeah,
you get bullied more, dude.
Yeah, like, what a freak.
Yeah. Especially
like that guy who said he's gonna fuck your mom in her mouth. Like, why are you laughing?
Especially if you're not funny. That's also part of it.
Josh, you mentioned you were on the cross country team. Do you have any other extracurriculars?
Extracurriculars. I was a big part of both schools' newspapers. I was an arts and entertainment writer for my first school's newspaper. Very dumb, like opinionated, like dumb opinions about movies. I was like, oh, Avatar's dumb. 3D is a crutch. Or Rotten Tomatoes isn't that important. Trust your own gut. Like stupid, just like soapbox stuff. And then, yeah, I literally, I think in the article, I'm like, I like House of a Thousand Corpses, but it only has an 11% on Rotten Tomatoes. This is stupid. It's all subjective. And then when I moved to Massachusetts, my senior year, I became the editor-in-chief of the school newspaper, which was it was a very daunting task. I cranked out 3 issues the whole year, maybe. Like, I think I promised 1 per quarter, and even then fell short. I wrote a lot. I wrote short stories. I won first prize for fiction in our school's literary magazine, but then the piece didn't get published because there was underage drinking in it.
Wow.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it was about a kid it was literally about a kid having a beer with his dad and his friends. Like, it was very Bostonian and stupid, but like, I was proud of it. It had some kind of a meaning to it. And then they announced it on the like the intercom, like the winners of the contest in each division, you know, poetry, short fiction, yada yada. And then the principal called me in that day and was like, we're not putting your piece in. And then I don't know if it's still in my house, but like the magazine is there and it doesn't have my story in it, but at the back page it's still like Josh O'Neill, first prize. It's a nice little artifact.
What did they put in instead of your story? Do you remember?
Oh, it was a big blank piece of paper that said "Go fuck yourself" on it. It had a picture of me. It was very dumb.
Just a picture of you with the Ghostbusters circle.
No smoking, no drinking, no Josh O'Neill.
Josh stinks, Killer stinks, Whopper stinks.
I did try wrestling junior year because I had done it in middle school and wanted to try it again. And then within a week, remembered that I hate wrestling and then just quit. Extracurriculars, other than that, I was in a play. It was pretty cool.
Oh, wow. We did not have theater or the opportunity to do theater at my high school.
We had theater, and it was also because we like allow girls from other schools to come participate. I was in a play called Plaza Suite where I was in the first scene and the last scene, and then I'd have to wait for 2.5 hours in between those scenes.
I heard an interview with Richard Kind one where he was in a play and he had the same like thing, and between his first scene and his last scene every night he would watch 2 episodes of Breaking Bad. And I think that's amazing. Just Richard Kind in the back like, what? Where? Pinkman. Oh man.
I wish I could do a Richard Kind impression and riff on this bit. That's my favorite bit in the whole world.
John, that's Richard Kind calling John Hamm on the phone.
Yeah.
John.
This was my. Do you want to hear my? Do you want to hear my one line from the last scene I was in? So
of course, yes.
Takes place in a hotel room. It's called Plaza Suite. It's by Neil Simon. It's 3 vignettes, and then in the third vignette, it's.
Were you a bellhop?
I was a bellhop at the beginning.
Okay.
The first scene is me as a bellhop welcoming the lead actress into the thing, and I'm like, "Everything okay? Everything look good?"
What was the lead actress's name? I'm gonna have a lot of questions. I want you to
Kelsey Giordano, now Kelsey Smith, because she married one of the other actors in the Community, Jack Smith. Yep.
Whoa, crazy! Yeah. Did you have a crush on her?
No, I didn't. But you know who did? The director, Sean, who I think they dated for a minute, and then she went to Jack, and then he still had to direct her.
Wait, no. The director is a student or an adult?
Yeah. I have a question.
For the spring play, the winter play was always something like Shakespeare, and it was done by a teacher. Very funny last name. His name was Mr. Didi, and it made me laugh a lot. And then the spring play was always like student directed, but we were So it was Neil Simon. So the first vignette, I show up. I'm a bellboy. I set down a suitcase. I'm very bad at it. And then. Second vignette, I'm not there at all. And then the third vignette is a father and mother of the bride who are in the hotel room. This all takes place in the same hotel room. And the bride has locked herself in the bathroom. After all the hijinks ensue, I finally come in. I'm the husband. And I am told the whole situation. And I quietly nod. I walk over, I knock on the door, and I go, "Elizabeth, this is Warren. Cool it." And then I immediately just am so assured of myself, and I walk out of the room, and it was like the first laugh I had ever gotten on stage. It was so intoxicating. It was the best.
Do it again, because I don't think you gave it justice. I think you did it very. Here, me and Ken will be.
Also, can I say something? My character was named Warren, but I forgot what the girl character's name was, so I went with Elizabeth, as in Elizabeth Warren.
Attaboy.
Yeah, Massachusetts. So I'm doing the line again?
Yeah. And I'll be the wife. Ken, do you want to be the parents? You'll be collectively the parents, because you're a parent. I think you've done a lot of research for the role.
Yeah, for sure.
just
You're
need
the
to
one.
explain to Josh that I'm in there, I'm weeping and stuff.
And yeah, also, Mike, you're not in the scene. You're behind a door. No, you haven't been seen the whole time. It's great.
Oh, okay.
You haven't been heard from or
Just
seen.
like my high school theater career.
Yeah.
Again,
Okay.
non-existent.
All right, so we're doing this
Was
bit.
not offered at my school.
Ken's telling me that you've locked yourself in the bathroom and you don't know what to do.
Okay, yeah. I'll be the director who got cucked by his lead actor. Feel bad for that kid, man. I thought at first I was like the teacher liked him, and then I found out it was the other kid. I felt bad for him. That sucks. I had a girlfriend of mine stole by a kid named Brad Higgins.
Fuck you,
Ew.
Anyway, here we go. And action. I'm in the bathroom.
Elizabeth, this is Warren. Cool it. Whoa! Whoa! Danny,
Fantastic.
oh, that was
Oh,
wild.
what a dunk.
Thank you.
This guy and Anthony.
Oh, I just forgot. I was in another play. I was also in.
Oh my God.
Was like
Honest
that.
to God. Still no theater. And I would have loved it there to have been. I was a big movie guy. I was
Yeah.
already going to see stand-up comedy in high school. I would have loved the opportunity.
Yeah.
No. Go bash your brains into mashed potatoes out on the football field and get stretched in this sweaty room on the wrestling team.
The way you phrased it, bash your brains into mashed potatoes, made me picture you ramming your head into a bowl of mashed potatoes. It's a very dumb visual. I was in Macbeth. I was in the Scottish play, and I played a drunk doorman.
Mm.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I had never been drunk before, so I was very bad at it. But I'm woken up by the knocking on the door, and I'm like hungover, and I've also got morning wood. It was a fun bit.
Did they tell you that they were going to put it in there and then right on the night of it cut you out because there was drinking involved?
They don't let me party. They don't let me do it.
Like your stupid lit thing.
Unbelievable. St. John's, man. I forget.
Did you go to prom? Did you do any of that nonsense? Did you go steady with anyone?
I didn't go steady with anybody, but I fucking cleaned up at prom. I went to like 6 or 7 proms.
Wow.
So did I.
Yeah.
Because when you go to all boys Catholic school,
Yeah.
there's all girls Catholic schools, and those are the only girls you know. And so you get to go to a bunch of proms. There's so many pictures of me at proms in the same suit.
I'll do you one better. I also had the public schools. So it was several public schools, several all girls schools, my proms, my junior dances. We had one when I moved to Massachusetts. I moved into the house of someone who went to St. John's before me.
Damn.
They were still a student there, but they had moved. They had just moved. So basically that's just the preface of the story. There was a dance in the wintertime called Subscription. It was an invite only thing. And I was the new kid, but for some reason they didn't know this kid had moved. So I received an invitation to Subscription that was meant for somebody else. So this one kid was like the only senior who didn't get to go to Subscription.
Oh,
And I was like, who the fuck is this guy that got to be at Subscription? It was very fun. Yeah, I had a lot of fun. It was none of it was really romance based. It was all very platonic, but which was fun. Yeah. It was low stakes, you know.
I looking back, I feel like of the 6 proms that I went to, so dumb. So you have a senior prom and a junior prom, and then I went to 2 Ladywoods. That was the girls' school by us, Ladywood. It's no longer there.
Ladywood.
And the other one was called Mercy, which is still there.
Mm-hmm.
And we would say what Mercy won't do, Lady would. Mm-hmm.
You guys really were into the written word kind of jokes.
Yeah, they look great on the page.
That's like a Henny Youngman joke. That's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. We weren't very we weren't like Jim Carrey or nothing. We were real thinking
Real
man.
thinkers.
Um,
Steve Martin came up with that arrow on his head and we kicked his ass.
I was just telling somebody about this recently. My senior prom, St. John's senior prom, it was 2012. We only had one slow dance the entire prom, and it was to one of the most popular slow songs of the year, "Someone Like You" by Adele, aka the best breakup song of all time. It was the weirdest thing. It was very funny.
I'm trying to remember the big slow dance number when I was in high school. Was "Baby I'm Amazed by You" by Lone Star. You guys know that?
Is that "Baby I'm Amazed at the way that you love me all the time"?
No. Every little thing that you do, I'm so in love with you.
Oh, okay.
Just keep getting better.
What am I? I'm doing Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
Baby I'm amazed.
And then this is my favorite thing in the world. At the last song at every Ladywood dance, and I think they did this to annihilate everyone's horniness.
Mm-hmm.
The last song was "American Pie" by Don McLean.
That's such a fucking unhorny song. I love that song. But
it's a 6-minute song about a plane crash, Ken.
Jesus Christ.
It's not. It's a real plane crash. A plane crash that happened.
A real plane, not a fictional made up romantic plane crash.
And
it's
also
a real fucking plane crash.
Also, that song, can't dance to it. It's not a danceable song. It's a weird tempo where it's like you can't slow dance to it, but you can't fast dance to it. It's meant for driving in a car and being white. That's it. It's great. It's amazing.
Darn it.
Yeah. And it's not just that the tempo's weird. It's that the tempo changes 4 times.
Oh my
It
God.
starts slow. There's a faster part. There's like a bridge where it's a little bit even faster, and then it ends very slowly. I think they were doing that to just kill everyone's boners.
Yeah. Hey, no Lady Wood tonight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lady Flaccid.
Lady Flaccid. Lady Worm. All right.
Lady Worm? Gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, man, proms ruled. I had some fun proms. Did you get to go to any proms where you didn't know anybody else besides your date?
Oh, yeah, I went to Canton High School's prom my senior year because this girl that I ended up dating in college, I pined after her for years and years. I pined after her. And we were just friends. And then her boyfriend dumped her a week before her prom. So I went to her prom with her. As a buddy. I didn't know anyone else there. And I probably got a little too drunk before, during, and after. And was just like, what's going on here? Yeah, so that was my answer. Yes.
Did you ever go to any proms? Probably more likely junior proms than senior proms. Did you ever go to a prom with a lock-in afterwards?
No.
A lock-in?
Yeah.
What is
a lock-in is like basically what happened when I went to the Shrewsbury junior prom with Kelsey Riley, the love of my life.
That is the perfect girl from high school name.
Dude,
Kelsey Riley.
Shout out to Kelsey Riley. She rules.
Kelsey Riley. Mine was Haley Kennedy, who she ended up marrying a firefighter from Royal Oak, Michigan.
That sounds about right.
They're very happy. She's a teacher now.
Yeah.
What's up?
That sounds about right. That whole name and setup. That's
Haley Kennedy. Yeah. That is for sure. Yeah. We both have ones that end in Y's. Haley Kennedy, Kelsey Riley.
Just say the thing.
That's pretty wild. I'm saying. That's pretty wild. A lock-in is when after the dance you have like an hour and a half to like go change and stuff, and then if you had signed up or paid tickets for it, you go to the local YMCA and you are you're just in your normal clothes, like, you know, like for me it was like a t-shirt and gym shorts, because I didn't know how to dress. And they do not let you out of that YMCA until the morning. There's stuff to do. There's inflatables to race around on and bouncy houses. There was poker. There was video games and also just general hanging.
Y'all paid extra for this?
I didn't. Kelsey did. I didn't pay for anything.
Nice.
Yeah. But like the big sell, not the big sell, but like the big like ticket item of this thing was the comedy hypnotist. You know, you get in the gym and you watch your friends get hypnotized and be silly. It was great. You think it's stupid, but then it's real. Oh, it's so funny. But one girl, they tell you, if you have drank at all, do not do this. Do not get hypnotized. And this one girl went, and when everyone else was unhypnotized at the end, she was still in this weird, like, lucid, like, half asleep, half awake thing. And the hypnotist, like, knew something was fucked up, and, like, he had to do extra work to get her out of the thing. And later in life, I saw her somewhere, and I was like, what? Like, what happened? You know, did you drink before? And she was like, yeah, but he didn't say anything about drugs, and I was on ecstasy.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
I think she's the first girl to ever be at the Y on ecstasy.
A lot of dudes have done ecstasy at the Y. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Not so much the ladies, though.
Mm-hmm.
Two things. The amount of drugs that kids did in my high school is very odd to me, because there was some kids, zero drugs, other kids, a lot of drugs. But there's one kid, I forget his name, and I also probably shouldn't say it for legal reasons, but got perp walked through our high school.
You got what?
A week before graduation. Perp walked, where they cuffed him and walked him through.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. They found 500 ecstasy tablets in his car.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That rules. That guy's cool as
Right?
hell.
First off, I didn't know this kid. I didn't even know him. And like, he was a drug kingpin.
Yeah,
And nobody, that's nuts. Like, you would never look twice at this weird, blonde, stringy-haired kid.
Dude.
And he was like running shit in the cul-de-sacs. Like, that's nuts. Nuts. We had a version of the lock-in, though. It was after our graduation, and they did it just so kids wouldn't drink. They would have us go to the gym at our school, not the YMCA, just the gym at our school, and inflatables and all that stuff, casino night, whatever,
Yeah.
yada yada. And I remember we never had any fights at our school, but there were like there was like boxing gloves that they had out for fighting. And so many kids got in fights. A couple kids got broken noses.
Jeez.
Like, it went from everyone's school, this is such a happy thing, to stop, let us out. Like, people are fucking laying into each other. So weird.
Oh man, did you ever get to experience Powder Puff?
No, I didn't. But
Powder Puff is on paper, whatever, but when you see it in person, it is the pettiest, bitchiest, most aggressive. I could watch it every day of my life. It's the funniest fucking thing. One time, one year, I this is only a secondhand story, but the year before I saw Powder Puff for the first time, two girls got into a fight, and one of the girls one of the girls' dads intervened, and when that dad got attacked by the other girl, he punched her in the face.
Oh,
whoa.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember when there was a Powder Puff game that like ended up on the news because it got like way out of hand. And it was like a national scandal.
No, I don't remember this story at all.
Okay, well that happened, and it ended up being the basis for Mean Girls.
Oh,
And
wow.
you know who was 1 year away from being in that game? Mallory Bradford, who's on the other side of that wall.
Yes.
In the school, and we'll delve into that in the future if she wants to. If we can book her. Everyone's very busy.
Oh boy.
Not doing anything.
I saw her once in January and haven't seen her since. She's very elusive.
She is real slithery. That sounded terrible.
That's awful.
So bad. I meant like she's real, she's busy. She's very busy is what I meant.
Yeah, she's around the corner all the time.
Yeah. But yeah, the Powder Puff thing is nuts. I have a couple more things that I wanted to touch on before we get to your quiz. Because this isn't just going to be, hey, we talk about school and then we get out of here. I want to see how much you retained, Joshua.
I feel like I'm going to be bad.
I'm gonna ask you some questions, and then depending on how many you get right, we're going to give some money to a charity of your choosing. And I choose that your choice is My Block, My State, My Hood, which is a lot of great work for neighborhoods in Chicago. How's that sound?
What if I was anti that? I was like, hey, what the fuck? I hate that charity specifically. I want to do a different one.
That charity stinks.
I want to support the red pandas at the Cincinnati Zoo.
I support the red pandas getting anyway. Other than your one home run line in that Neil Simon play, were there any like moments that made you feel like accomplished in high school?
Yeah,
or you winning this literature prize?
No, I got suspended from high school the day I got into college.
What the fuck? Okay, why?
I made it wasn't even I couldn't even qualify it as a joke, but I said 69, the number 69 to the principal in front of the entire senior class.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Okay. It's kind of a long story. Tell me if you need me to cut it short. So
no, I think you can tell all of it.
Senior year, we're in lunch, and we have this ATM machine where basically you put in your student ID and then you throw money onto it and then you pay for lunch using the student ID. I am in line for that, and the principal gets on the microphone, because every day the principal would get on the microphone and do lunchtime prayer. After lunchtime prayer, he would make announcements, and he makes this announcement about the ATM machine. So he points in that direction. The whole senior class is looking in my direction. At this point, I'm like a year and 2 months into St. John's. I am still new in my brain. I have friends, but I'm still very new in my brain. So I feel very awkward and put on the spot. And Massachusetts people are just very, or at least the teachers were very like two-faced, in my opinion, at the time. They were strict, but also they tried to be buddy. You know, they really wanted to be like, you hoes, whatever.
That is. Boy, oh boy, I never really thought of it like that, but I think a lot of teachers in schools like the ones that we went to are very much like
two sides.
Where they try to have these fun little things, but then they'll hit you.
Yeah.
It's such a weird thing, and it's really hard. One of the biggest things in education is trying to develop a relationship with your students, and I think it's very hard to do that when you have to enforce very strict policies.
Yeah. This principal, he, like, everyone looks at me. I do an awkward wave because everyone's staring at me. And this principal tries to do, how much money are you putting on there, O'Neill? 600, 700? And I have like a couple of options. I could either laugh at his bad joke and come off like a pussy. I could tell him how much money I'm putting on, which is just a weird thing to do, just to be like, oh, I'm actually doing this amount. Thank you for asking. And then the third option was like, be funny, like try to be funny. And the only funny number, because I didn't smoke weed, was 69. So I said 69, and it got like this like light chuckle out of the cafeteria. And my principal didn't let up. He was like, 69, huh? And I was like, I tried to save myself. I was like, or 70, you know, like that range.
That's the fucking or 70. I don't know.
I don't know. The truth be told, Truth be told, I was only at the ATM to check my balance. You could check your balance. I had 15 cents on my card. That was the financial training. So
Did you guys ever do a 15 cents, by the way? That's when you think you're gonna have sex, and then you fall asleep on the couch.
That's when you fuck Thomas Jefferson 3 times.
That's when you try and stick 3 nickels up your own ass.
So I do that joke. It's not even a joke. It's not even a joke. It was just something. It was just immature. I said 69 to the principal.
That would be like in a deleted scene from Dude, Where's My Car? Like that's the level of comedy.
Yeah. But considering the fact that no one liked the administration, it was cool, I guess, in some sense. So I went back to my table and I was like, they're like, do you really fucking mean to say that? And I was like, I don't know, bitch. And I get called over to a different table by the dean of students. We have a big hierarchy. I'm sure you had this. We had a dean of athletics, a dean of admissions, a dean of students, a principal, a fucking headmaster. So the dean of students calls me over, and this guy is probably how old I am now. Like he's in his mid-20s. He is he's a young guy, young gun. I think he was low-key mad that he didn't get drafted to the Giants. He got like drafted to the Giants and then they cut him, the New York Giants.
Okay. What position did he play?
I have no idea. I couldn't tell you. It's been so long.
Also, do you remember the comedy hypnotist name from the lock-in?
I do not.
That's a while ago. But I would like to know. But if you can find out, it's cool.
I could look it up. I could ask around. I'll ask Kelsey. So this dean calls me over and he's like,
sorry.
You're fine. This dean calls me over and he's like, why are you saying that? And like, I just played it totally coy. I didn't want to admit that I said it, but also low key, I wanted him to tell me that he knew what 69ing was. I wanted to be like, I don't know what you mean. And he would be like, you're talking about people sucking and fucking upside down, Like I was so ready for that. And the whole time I'm like very much like at this point, people like we're both standing, everyone's seeing it, but like they're still talking. Like the whole class is still eating lunch and talking, but like people are making glances like, oh shit, Josh O'Neill's in trouble. And we're having this discussion. I'm swearing to God that I am innocent. I literally make this excuse. I pull out my driver's license and prove to him that my birthday is June 9th. So I go, I've been making college applications. I've been writing a lot of random passwords. 69 has just been in my brain. So I said 69. And he goes, how much money were you putting in? I was like, I was checking my balance. I have 15 cents.
That guy, at that moment, he should have given you $69. Like that would be if he would have endeared himself for the rest of his career, if he would have just given you that he already had print, like, ready to go, just here's
he goes, hey, here's $70. Give me $1 back.
Yeah. Do you have change?
It's a very funny idea. He just pays me for a good joke. But he goes, so you were lying. You were lying about the money you had on your account. And that's when I got mad and defensive. And I go, well, you don't think the principal really expected me to be spending $600 to $700 on lunch, do you? And he goes, and like, I swear to God, this was the exchange. And I couldn't resist. He gave me the bait and I fucking took it. He goes, are you raising your voice at me? And I went, no. I like immediately raised my voice as soon. And he's like, you're going to the office. And it was like this thing where like I as soon as I turned around, walked over to my table, grabbed my lunch and started walking away, everyone knew what had happened. And all of these kids who had no idea who I was, like found out who I was. It was like a very weird moment where like I was in I was in that dean's office for like another hour while he presided over other lunches. And I could see kids going through the courtyard, coming up to the window and being like, holy shit, like he's in there. Like it was
Wow.
very, it was a very much like it was my Stone Cold Steve Austin moment. It was me stunning Vince McMahon. It was my moment.
That's when you went from Josh O'Neill to Josh 69.
Yeah, I'm Mr. 69 to plenty of people. Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Bellhop no more. You got the starring role, baby.
So I get reprimanded by him, and he goes, I'm not going to suspend you, but I'm going to give you a bunch of detentions. Go back to your class. I go to my economics class. They're like, it's in the middle of the economics class. I walk in to a round of applause. I've never felt cooler. And like the teacher wasn't applauding, but he was smiling like he had heard all about it. Like this dean of students was like annoying to everybody. There was a rumor going around that the dean of students had slept with one of the English teachers and then had her fired after they stopped seeing each other.
Jeez.
What?
Yeah. That English teacher was the lady who gave me the first prize in the short story. So
Oh, wow.
I had to defend her honor. So good.
Nice.
But like literally, we're in economics class for like 5 more minutes, and the phone, like every classroom has a phone, and the phone rings, and my teacher's like, "Oh, I bet it's the dean calling to suspend O'Neill," and we all laugh it off. They're like, "Whoa, what if that happened?" And he picks up the phone. He's like, and he looks at me. He's like, "Yeah, you got to go to his office." And I go, and I get suspended, and I go to work. Afterwards, I come back home. My dad goes, "Okay, I think you know what you did. Write an apology letter to the principal, write an apology letter to the dean." I do that because I fear my dad more than anything in the world. And he goes, "Okay, now go check the dining room table." And I go, and there's a big fucking acceptance letter to Xavier University. And that was the day I did the worst and the best. That was my big accomplishment. That's like my one cool high school story, I feel like.
Hell yeah. Yeah, that's rad, man.
Yeah.
Good for you. And I think the real person to blame through that whole story is the New York Giants.
Yeah. And
they lost a real tenacious guy.
Yeah, we in New England already hated the New York Giants, and this guy wanted to be on the New York Giants. Fuck this
guy. So our dean of students who would have been in the same position was a guy who was there for years and years and years. His name was Mr. Hayes, and he wore the worst toupee ever. It is the worst toupee I've ever seen. On a toupee commercial, you wouldn't see this toupee.
Are you watching toupee commercials?
I don't know.
It's a second favorite YouTube search.
Yeah. Is this on the Yell channel? Is all the fucking...
I watch the Yell channel. I watch Toupee for Me. And soccer highlights. That's all I watch.
Yeah. It's a good vibe.
But there was a kid. I didn't do this. I wasn't a big I wasn't like a class clown or anything. I was very funny to with my friends. Yeah. But I would never do anything in front of anybody.
I think I only had one teacher I was cool like acting out around, and that was it. Everybody else was like, just play it cool.
Yeah. I think I was definitely, there were classes that I enjoyed talking in and being a part of the discussion in, and then there was other times, like most times in front of my peers, no thank you. I would not like to say anything. I just want to get out of here and be done and read and listen to music and do my own thing, so on and so forth. But there was a Mr. Hayes was our dean of students, and he had quite a mop. And this one kid who got in trouble said to Mr. Hayes, "At least I can grow my own hair."
Jesus.
Which is really funny.
I hate that. I hate that.
Like, I hate it too. But
I hate it's very funny, but I hate an at least joke. God damn.
Yeah, me too. I hate at least, and I hate when you say something and then right after it, the other person says, "Are you really?" That's oof. Mm. Mm.
That is good. That is good
I
though.
hope my girlfriend's sister hears this and stops doing it.
That's good. That's good that the guy called him out on his toupee though, because the toupee is supposed to be him hiding a secret, and that's him going, "Hey, I know your fucking secret."
Well, he was this. So this is an example of when someone does your thing and it goes horribly awry for him. Mr. Hayes then called that kid into his office and explained to him that he was going through the big C.
Oh shit.
Yeah, right. And then that kid, this is like junior year towards the end. That kid did not come back for senior year.
You made me feel bad for making fun of his toupee, Michael.
Yeah, no, I mean, and that just proves that, like, the biggest weapon is guilt. If you can guilt someone,
Oh, yeah. Oh, 100%.
move. Before we get into the quiz, is there anything that you would have changed about high school? And not yourself in school, but like, what would you have changed other than this this hard-on who couldn't make the Giants, who are like 0-9 right now? Other than that, what would you have changed about your school experience had you the chance from a teaching perspective or an institutional perspective? What would you have changed?
I don't know if this is too contradictory, but like maybe a couple more girls would have been good for social reasons. Just so you don't forget how to act around them in like public settings. Like when you're hanging with the girls and the guys and you're like around like a fucking bonfire at the lake drinking beers or whatever, that's whatever. But like until like I got to college and I was still just showing up, just being a dude, and I was just like around the most prettiest women I had seen in years. So I wish I had been taught a little bit more tact, I guess. But other than that, I'm glad that I had the experience that I had. Institutionally, there shouldn't be that much pride in a place. The fact that there's a headmaster anywhere is ridiculous. Other than that, it was school.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Let me tell you a little story about my first day of classes at Michigan State University. So not only did I go to all boys Catholic high school, my K through 8 was all at the same Catholic school in Ann Arbor, which was co-ed, but it was literally the same 30 kids the whole time. And you don't really care about, I mean, you do, they're your friends, but you don't, I've known that girl since she was 7. I don't want to impress her. That's just Emily Norton or whatever. I don't fucking. So I go to Michigan State, which is a place where people do it. It is a college built on fucking.
Yeah.
And so my first day of classes, my grand idea for meeting ladies, I don't bring any pencils. No pencils, no writing implements. So I can have hey, can I borrow a pen?
Oh, like the cake song. Like,
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Like at the time I thought that was genius, but looking back now I'm like, you can't open with being unprepared.
Yeah.
You can't open with being the most needy immediately.
Yeah. Yeah. I should have just been like, you will be the pants in this relationship. Really.
Yeah, you might as well have gone to the cafeteria and been like, can you buy me lunch? Like, can you please buy me lunch?
And you just have to swipe your ID. This is the cafeteria.
Yeah. And then you go, can you drink my water for me?
Yeah. You chew this and then spit it into my mouth like
you baby bird me.
All right, Josh, this has been lovely, but we got to put you to the test, baby.
Oh man, I am terrified.
There's only 5 questions.
And
I think that's pretty.
we're doing literature and math. That's correct.
So yes, Josh told me in the pre-interview, which was a text message, that his best subjects were literature and math. So we got some lit, some math,
Okay.
and we'll see. We're gonna do 5.
Okay.
$5 a question. My block, my city, my hood. Here we go. Question number 1. Josh O'Neill, Cincinnati / Worcester, Mass. What's the Pythagorean theorem?
That is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. That is how
Wow.
you figure out triangles.
That's very good.
Thank you.
That's $5.
$5 on the board. Anything
On the
else
board.
from now, I won't feel as guilty about.
Attaboy. Very fantastic. Number 2. Also, these are just things I thought of. Who wrote the Iliad?
Is it Homer?
It's Homer, correct?
All right, nice. I knew he wrote the Odyssey, but I didn't know if he wrote the Iliad. Hell yeah.
Let me double check. I'm like 90. I wrote the it's Homer.
Oh no!
Name the 3 types of triangles.
Isosceles, right? Oh man! All right, isosceles is 2 angles that are the same and one. All right, isosceles, right, equilateral. That's correct.
Good job.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
All right, 2 more. Wow, this has been. Can't believe I'm losing money on this already.
Yeah.
If you got a mattress company or anything out there you want to sponsor us, please let me know right now. What was the name of the theater where Shakespeare, or Shakespeare as he's more commonly known, staged most of his plays?
Oh man, this one's upsetting me because it used to be in my head. I'm gonna be wrong, but is it the Orpheum? It's not the Orpheum.
That was the Globe Theater.
Oh
And
no!
this is for charity. Make him feel worse than just that noise.
No,
That noise wasn't dramatic enough.
There we go. Is that better?
Oh, that was lower. I like that one more.
Even lower. Nice.
All right, Globe Theater, yes. Globe Theater.
Here's the last one. Still at 15, which is very, that's nothing to sneeze at.
All right.
And
That's, they'll use that to buy something important like postage, good stuff. All right. What was the name of the terrifying monster that Beowulf fought?
I know this because I read the book from the perspective of the monster. That is the Grendel.
There you go. $20.
Woo!
My block, my city, my hood.
Hell yeah.
Congratulations. You did it. Thank you so much for doing this. I think this was a good one to start on
Yeah.
because I got to talk a little bit about my history and then you got to talk about your history.
Yeah.
It's very similar.
We touched some common ground, so anything either of us left out, we both picked up on.
Yeah. And I didn't want any of them to just be me talking because I've just been talking to myself the last 8 fucking months,
I haven't said a word all 8 months. These are the first words I've said.
Yeah. You didn't miss a beat, buddy.
Thanks, man.
Is there anything you want to plug, I guess would be the word for it?
Plugging. I mean, I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Josh Oatmeal. I have a quote unquote special. It's literally just a half hour. That's stand up and just other funny clips pieced together. If you Venmo me any amount of money at all, I will send it to you, and half the proceeds go to the Black Emotional and Mental Health Collective. And that information is available on my Twitter and my Instagram. Other than that, yeah, that's it.
Cool. Well, thanks for doing this, buddy.
Thank
Really
you, man.
appreciate it. Ken, any parting words? What do you think of this? What would you give us as a grade for this conversation?
I enjoyed it. The effort was there for sure. You followed a conscious stream of thought, and There was the intro, some body paragraphs, and a conclusion with a nice thesis statement at the beginning. I would give you a B plus. You followed the rubric.
Hey, all right.
You followed the rubric.
Okay.
A minus. Actually,
A minus.
Oh, nice.
mainly because those 4 questions you got correct at the end. That was impressive.
Thank
That was
you.
It
impressive.
was, right?
Thank you. Yeah.
I only got 1 of those right. So
Which one did you get right, Ken?
no, I got 2 right. The triangle and so my last name is Hamlet. So I got
Oh, yeah.
Shakespeare stuff. So that's
Nice. Anyway, yeah, you follow Ken on social media too. He's at. Are you still at Big Black Schlong or no?
Yeah, that's my website, www.bigblackschlongs.com. You can
Oh yeah.
find a lot of funny meat on there.
Oh yeah. And I'm at the Michael Keefe. Thank you so much for listening. I had a big you got to do a sign off line at the end of your podcast.
Yeah.
The one for Buddy of the Groom was till death do us fart. I gotta,
Wait, I got one. If you want to stick with the theme of butts and your sign off, ass dismissed.
I fucking love that.
Yeah, I think that's what we got to do.
That is
all right. For Josh O'Neill, for the Headmaster, Ken, you're going to give us a grade at the end of every episode. And you're going to be Headmaster Ken Hamlett. So it is written. So it is done. For Josh O'Neill, for the Headmaster Ken Hamlett, ass dismissed.